Lord Belgrave is back with another post about the problems in Europe in 2015. Ripple in action, Santander and Ripple. This is about the banking situation in Portugal, and Ripple may have had something to do with it. Let's try to figure out what he means above all else. And if you don't know, Lord Belgrave says that he used to work as a banker in London City. In some of these meetings, he sees these private papers. He says he is giving away as much as he can on the web. Some of you really enjoy the posts. Some of you are a little wary about it. It makes sense to me. There's no way to be sure about Lord Belgrave, but I want to talk about this because I find it very interesting. Let me begin by telling you something you likely haven't thought about before, he says. It was 2015, and the news was all about Portugal's banks going down and needing bailouts. At the same time, European banks were testing Ripple and XRP under NDA. The fall of Banco Espírito Santo was more than just a disaster. It was a reason to test the new financial lines. Banco Espírito Santo, or BES, went bankrupt in the middle of 2014. BES was Portugal's second biggest bank and said it had lost 3.6 billion euros. The government stepped in and bought Novo Banco in 2015 with 4.9 billion euros from Portugal's Bank Resolution Fund. It became clear how fragile cross-border amounts of cash are in Europe. This was a warning shot for the whole continent. It was no longer possible for correspondent banking chains to handle shocks. What else was going on at the same time? In the same year, Santander innovators said it would work with Ripple. That is, neither retail crypto hype nor speculative talk. On the inside, it was called a liquidity corridor evaluation that was in line with Basel III liquidity guidelines. That's exactly what I saw written on a secret deck. Technical proof from the NDAS, simulations of liquidity corridors. RippleNet tried the euro, the Brazilian real thing, the BRL, and the Europe Great British Pound against Basel III liquidity coverage ratios, or LCR, test for settlement delay. T+0 netting was reached with XRP bridge settlement, but T+2 netting was reached with older real-time growth settlement systems. This means that when you used to sell a stock, bond, or other similar thing, it would take T+2 or 2 days. Just recently, we switched to T+1, which clears in 1 day. And this is what will happen when financial assets are tokenized. They will settle the same day or right away, right? That's the goal, T+0. Scenarios of stress. Ripple was tested against spreads from Portugal and Greece, two troubled sovereigns, to show that it could handle liquidity in a balanced way. The only reason for this was to follow the rules. The language used in the deals tells the story. The neutral bridge assets of Portugal are equal to XRP. Cross-border liquidity gaps that are in line with NSFR are the same as Ripple's corridors that meet Basel standards. What XRP was made to do is atomic settlement across troubled countries. This was hidden right in front of everyone, looking like money for new ideas. And why Santander? Deep exposure to the Eurozone. Latin America, especially in Brazil, Mexico, and Argentina being in charge. Depending on cross-currency routes that were not stable under Basel III, you could use Santander as a stand-in to test XRP as a global cash rail. The plot that no one talks about. What caused BES to fail? Was it just bad management? Oh, I see. This is the Banco Espírito, or Banco Espírito Santo. It also asks if the fall of BES was due to bad management or if it was a planned sacrifice to make it okay to restructure Europe's cross-border funding framework. Notice that as soon as BES went down, Ripple pilots in Europe started speeding up. Random event? He says, I don't think so. Besides that, I've seen other signs. In a letter from 2015, Ripple Santander talks about how important Ripple is to Basel III liquidity efficiency modeling. A draft from the European Banking Authority in 2016 talks about settlement systems that aren't based on correspondent models. The language is marked with Ripple's mark all over it. Private Santander Ripple workshop notes and test runs with XRP were done in secret under an NDA, while the public story was about how efficient remittances were. Getting the sequence right. 2014, the failure of Banco Espírito Santo shows how weak things are in general. 2015 bailouts change how Portuguese banks are run under new rules for cash. 2015 Santander's innovators work with Ripple under non-disclosure agreements that talk about the Basel III problem, rules, and a way to fix it. Most people think that Ripple's move into Europe was to bring new ideas to payments. In reality, it was about replacing a system that was already falling apart with liquidity lanes that were in line with Basel. The people saw a sure thing, the bank saw a chance, and Ripple was there to make a deal. Then he says, I will show parts of these NDAS that define terms, spell out their scope, and include documents that directly reference Basel III. It will be clear that 2015 wasn't the year to try out crypto. That was the year banks started moving cash into neutral programmable passageways. I thought that post was pretty cool. Tell me what you think about it. Was a lot of this stuff done by Ripple It was almost like Europe was making problems in order to implement this new plan. Some things we can't do with European payment systems or payment systems in general have been banned for decades. It has always been the SWIFT system, which was very safely run. And it's hard to get money in and out of many places around the world. And so SWIFT and these big banks never figured out how to level the playing field when it came to prices, lowering some of them so money could flow easily through these routes. This is where all of these institutions will want to get to with Ripple and XRP, and being able to move that money down in price by 98 to 99% while also getting all of that nostro vostro money back. Just think about how badly banks need that money right now. Several countries are going through bond crises right now, and banks are losing a lot of money. Moving money around at the speed of light should cost them very little or nothing. And the best way I can think of to do that right now in the world of digital assets is with XRP. You could add XLM for payments in stores, and there are others like HBAR. Chainlink will also be very important for connecting old systems, but when it comes to settlement, I don't see a bigger system than what Ripple has built so far or is building now. Tell me what you think below. Brad Kimes, here are some digital points of view. Don't forget that this year's Ripple Swell show is in New York City. I know the same place where Wall Street is, and this year at Swell, a lot of big names from Wall Street are there. We have Brad Garlinghouse here. Of course, you have Adina Friedman,